When we start removing, we start improving. When it comes to self-improvement, it will always and forever consist of removement. It's like you in a group. You in a group, and everybody in that group is always negative, or they try to hold back your ambition. They try to belittle everything that you think you can achieve or you can do. Or even if you want to practice something new, they want you to remain old. Let's say someone you know is in a group where everybody in that group is always trying to help them improve. Everyone in that group is always emphasizing how great that person can be, just like they always emphasize how they themselves can be great. What person you think is in a better environment? You are your environment. Group one, this person has to remove themselves so they can improve themselves. Because if they stay in the first group, what will ultimately happen? Because it's consistent negativity, the results they'll have will more often than not be consistent negatives. So whenever they try to do something positive, it will continuously be hit with negatives. They will not be able to gain momentum when it comes to whatever they're trying to do, because every time they take a step forward, everyone around them will be trying to bombard them with negativity. The person in the second group will more often than not flourish. Whatever it is that they are trying to achieve or do, or even if they're trying to be happy, right? They're making a choice to be happy. No one around them will stop them from achieving anything. No one around them will stop them from attempting to be happy. They're in a constant pursuit of happiness, success, growth. Everyone in that circle, everyone in that group will help them. If your circle don't influence you, you're more often than not in a cage. Don't ever put people as a priority, especially their opinions about you, while they themselves consider you a second or third option. You see, I always say this about life. Like everything when it comes to self-improvement is just far beyond development or growth. You have to pay attention to everything around you. It's people around you, they themselves don't even know. They're not conscious enough to be aware of what it is that they're doing. So oftentimes you'll have people that are just reciprocating behaviors and expressions that they've been taught or they've been around their whole lives. For instance, in the first group, more often than not, everybody in that first group, they possibly have parents, grandparents, or their environment, like let's say their neighborhoods. It can even be their teacher or friends or strangers that they continuously come in contact with. They're possibly negative people because they're always in a state of negative, negative, negative. We are not born this way. Everything we do, every habit that we've built, it's more often than not persuaded or encouraged or it is influenced by people we spend the most time with. So the first group is going to be negative because everybody in that group, more often than not, they always hang around negative people. They spend a lot of time with negative people. The second group, their environment may be a little bit different. And this goes beyond just money, but their environment may be a little bit more healthy. They may have more family support. Their family may have what we consider positive judgment or positive criticism. So they criticize each other, but it's out of pure love. It's not, you can't do it because I didn't do it. It's more often than not, you know what? I couldn't do it, but I believe you can do it. They're not haters. They're motivators, right? They can see how someone can be great, how someone can do what nobody in the family has done. Friends, you can have a group of friends, right? They can all see your potential and not envy you. Naturally, people are envious and jealous. So that's why people spend most of their time hating on others, but they don't realize they're wasting time, which they could be using to help themselves. But they're not conscious enough because of negativity. They're more focused on you or people that are doing things. You know, the people who produce a lot gain more. It's just the way it is. If you produce nothing, you get nothing. And oftentimes these people are negative, so they never self-improve because they never remove the negativity, so they can't ever improve when it comes to weighing what side they want to spend the most time on, positive or negatives. So they're not aware of what they're doing, and they're subconsciously and consciously just trying to push it on you. They don't like that you're not the same way. But that's why you have to remove yourself, because you can't control what other people go through. You can't control someone else's family. You can't control the experiences that they've endured growing up. You can't control how they think. You can't control what they think about you. That's none of your business. As much as we want people to think good about us, You can treat people well. You can lay down and let people walk all over you. They'll say you as the rug that they're walking on is not clean enough. It's not strong enough. They want a different one. So obviously, if you stand up for yourself and you do what you want to do and you remove people so you can improve yourself, they're going to have a problem with that too, because negative people always find negatives in everything. Even if it's a positive situation, they're always seeking the negatives because that's just the habit that they've built. So removement is self-improvement. Remove yourself from people. Now, second, you yourself has to be aware of what you're allowing yourself to be in without people. Let's say you're at home and you're indulging in a lot of activities that hold you back. Like, let's say you have a bad diet. Let's say you dwelling in self-doubt. You have to remove yourself from your thoughts. How do you do that? You spend a lot more time doing things that's going to help you whether you like it or not. Remove when you're sitting down doing nothing and your brain is just racing. You're going to always have to battle when it comes to these thoughts, right? We're human. But try to position yourself to always counter the negative thoughts. So when you're sitting down and your mind is just racing, negatives, you have to immediately put yourself in a position where you're moving. That's why oftentimes I would say working out may not feel good, but when you're done, you feel better. It's that pain. It's that pain to reward. It's that pain to gain. It's that risk to reward. You're risking your comfort, but the reward is you end up being comfortable anyway. It goes back to removing yourself from people. Remove yourself from yourself. You have to ultimately stop yourself from damaging you. All of this is going to be hard work. Self-improvement is hard work. Growth. You don't grow without resistance. This is all resistance because you can easily sit back and just give in. You can stay with the first group and just be negative. That second group, as beautiful as it sounds, it's going to come with some type of risk as well, because how many people have you come in contact with that's just negative? All they do is spew out negativity. It's almost as if they're just natural born haters. They don't want to see you do anything because they know you'll get the praise and the reward for it. But they themselves are doing nothing. So their mindset is, well, I'm not doing it. The next person should be able to do it. When we all should be trying to accomplish a lot of things in life, because the world consists of how many people? Billions. We all can't do the same thing. We all can't think the same way. This is what makes everything valuable. So I oftentimes say you got to take the good with the bad. You got to remove to improve. People are going to do good things. This is what makes the bad things people do obvious. People are going to do bad things. This is what makes the good things people do obvious. Value. Because if everybody did good, nobody would be doing good. It would just be a way of life. But we have each side of every coin. That's what makes each side significant, whether we think it's good or bad. So spend a lot of time removing yourself so you can improve yourself. Nowadays, men and women have problems with each other. Remove yourself. Who influenced you to be in a toxic relationship? More often than not, people who you admire, family, friends, or someone on social media, influencers. Influencers are just not people on social media. It's your family. It's your close ones. When I mean close ones, I mean the people who are close to you. I would say your loved ones, but sometimes the people who are close to you, you don't even love them. You're just comfortable spending time with them. Someone encouraged you or influenced you to accept behaviors from others, specifically when it comes to relationships between men and women. Okay, let's talk about friendships. This go hand in hand. Remove yourself. Remove yourself to improve yourself. No one has to give you the approval. No one has to tell you to do this. You have to tell yourself, because if you don't control you, someone else will. If you can't control what you can control, who's controlling it? Either no one or someone else. And you're not aware because you're too busy focused on things you can't control, which oftentimes involve people who you shouldn't even be trying to control, but your ego and pride is putting you in a position where you think this is good because you've probably been influenced by other people who walk with their ego and pride. And like I always say about ego and pride, it's good and bad and everything. You can have good ego, good pride. You can have bad ego and bad pride. More than likely, a lot of people are walking around with bad pride, but their perception of it is good pride. Where are you at in life? Some of us have given up. That's that bad ego. See, the good ego would have had you humble, and you'd have been focused on a day-to-day basis. No matter how it feels, you're getting things done. You're doing what you need to do. It's that old saying, right? The person who wakes up and go to the gym, whether they feel like it or not, they're going to go to the gym every day. The person that wakes up and go to the gym when they feel like it, they're going to miss a lot of days, because we're human. You're going to have a lot of days where you don't feel, But your feelings are why you're where you're at. And you're in a messed up situation because you're too busy feeling. As men, we have to do, and this goes for women as well. You don't have to be in a toxic relationship because everybody around you are in toxic relationships. Remove yourself to improve yourself. But you also have to be aware when you're trying to be acceptable. So if everybody's doing it, I need to do it too because no one's going to accept me. Listen, you yourself first have to accept yourself. If you don't accept yourself first, you can't expect everybody else to accept yourself because naturally people may not like you, but they respect your identity. That's why I don't have a lot of friends. I don't have a lot of people who I spend a lot of time with because I will not hide who I am for somebody else's comfort. Because first of all, get comfortable being uncomfortable. And when it comes to your beliefs and preferences in life, I give everybody the respect to think and believe what they want, but I demand the same respect. I don't walk around with that bad ego. I think the way I do it is the best way. No. It's best for me. But anytime I find myself surrounded by people who have that belief, I just remove myself. Because when I remove myself from people like that, I'm always improving. I'm improving my tolerance, I'm improving my self-control, and I'm also improving down the path that I already laid out for myself because I'm not letting distractions deteriorate my actions. I would just simply remove myself. And then people like to start fishing. You know what I mean by fishing is they start to do certain things to see how you respond so they can come up with some ideology to then come back and try to have conversations or try to challenge you. See, when people do this, oftentimes, I always reiterate, imagine if they did this with their own lives. They'll be in a better situation. But because they got bad ego and pride, they don't even think they're in a bad situation, right? They're not improving at all. As a matter of fact, they're down so bad, but everybody around them are so comfortable with this toxicity of a relationship or environment that they just let it be. This can go with family, friends. Your environment, period, consists of some people who just don't know how to tell it like it is and understand extreme accountability, especially as men. What I mean by that is, I don't ever ask anybody to do something for me I can't do for myself. Or at least ask and just expect them to do it because of this notion that we need to help each other. If we all say we need to help each other, everybody need to be in a position to help someone equally. So pay attention to what I'm saying. If you need money, you need to be able to provide money. You see what I'm saying? If you asking somebody for money, you have no money. That means you can't provide no money. You shouldn't be asking for money. Because oftentimes, what do? We have people around us that don't believe in money, don't think money is important, and then they come back and ask people for money. How dare you? That's hypocrisy at its finest. Get your lazy ass up and go get you some money because you're asking someone for money who gets up every day, whether they feel like it or not, going back to the gym reference, and they're going to make sure they have some type of resources. They may hate their job just as much as that's why you don't have a job because you hate it. But they go make money, and then you don't have a job, you need money, you go ask that individual. But what would I tell that person who's being asked about money? Remove yourself to improve yourself because you worked hard for those resources. They didn't. The person asking you didn't. As much as they believe everybody should help each other, that person themselves should be aware that they are not in the same position that they are voicing. They're claiming something that they can't maintain. They can't live up to that claim. Hypocrisy. So, moral of the story is, make sure before you ask somebody for something, you can provide it. And if you could provide it, you wouldn't be asking for it in the first place. Or your healthy mindset should be admit that you're doing something that's not beneficial for yourself. Therefore, you have to go ask somebody else. That too is a part of improving, removing your ego to improve yourself. Like they say, real men come back and apologize for things that they've done. A lot of people don't want to apologize. Their ego, they're trying to be so right. Their ego is trying to be so right because it hates being wrong that it doesn't even understand how wrong it is, right? Remove yourself from those people too. I'm telling you, this goes beyond just, I want to wake up and be great or successful. You have a lot of work to do because you're around a lot of people that don't do a lot of work, but that's what makes it valuable. You're in a great situation, right? Your mindset is exactly what it needs to be for you to be successful. Whatever that means to you. Like I say, I don't tell people what they need to do. We just always giving perceptions. But I'm going to hold you accountable like Big Brother. What you're doing is not going to work because what you're doing possibly is influenced by a lot of people or the people that's important to you. And those individuals don't have what it takes to get where you want to be. They can't give you a blueprint. They're influencing you and they don't have a blueprint that's going to be beneficial for you. And even if they did, what worked for them may not work for you, but you can always gain insight, motivation, or some type of inspiration, realizing that everybody starts somewhere and then they get to their destination through just continuous effort. You can't get that from most people around you because most people around you are not where they want to be. They're giving up. And we're not here to knock them, but we have to be conscious. We have to be aware. You have to get around people that have done what you wanted to do. Even if it's in the smallest form, you got an opportunity to learn something. If you're around people that has nothing to offer, but they're always spewing out advice, you're going to find yourself in a bad situation. And that's just life. That's not me knocking anybody. This is just life. This is how it goes. You understand what I'm saying? This is consistent. This is day-to-day, continuous effort of being uncomfortable. But you have to gain some type of comfort with it. To improve, you have to remove. Remove the habits. Remove the toxic relationships. Remove the self-doubt, or try to counter it with something that's going to put you in a position where even if it's uncomfortable, you're benefiting something. Don't ever put somebody as a priority and they have you as a second or third option. Everybody around you, if you have them as a priority, you need to be their priority. You got to have healthy relationships with yourself first, and then automatically you'll embrace healthy relationships with other people. It will almost be, it's like a magnet. You guys are drawn to each other. You know, your circle is not a cage, or at least it shouldn't be. If people in your circle don't inspire you, you're in a cage. That's not a circle. Those are not friendships. Those are situationships, and it's toxic.